everyone, Thomas here and welcome back to another video. So today I'm back here for another mansion build, and today we're going to go ahead and build this classic country mansion. So if you'd like to go ahead and download this for yourself, it is up on the gallery now. My origin ID is real Thomas TV1. So if you don't know, every Sunday here on my channel we'll do a 64x64 lot mansion build. So we're back here with another one today, and I'm going to put a card on screen now so you can see some information about this build. So it came in at 396,084 simoleons. It has 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, and like I said, it was built on the 64x64 lot in Brindleton Bay, and it took me about 2 hours to build this. It was actually ended up being a little bit less. It was more like an hour and 45, which honestly is crazy. I know that I kind of say how, well, people always ask me how I build faster, and really the only thing to do is just do it, like just keep doing it. Practice makes perfect. And well, I don't really know if it's perfect, but it's definitely you know, improved my building time. So you know, this would have taken me, like a house like this, like 2 years ago, like around 2 years ago when I started building, it would have probably took me about 8 hours to do. So to say I can do it in that amount of time is great. And I'm not rushing it. It's just like, you know, I'm not making shortcuts and things like that. It just literally just doesn't take me that long because I do them every week. And you know, there's things that I kind of like to do in each build. I kind of have my own style, so that kind of applies to each of the builds, which kind of shortens the time a little bit. And yeah, so that's, you know, answering a question. If you want to learn more about that, I did actually make a video a little while ago up on my channel, so feel free to go ahead and check that out, where I kind of talked about some general building tips and tricks, and also ways to improve your build time as well. So right now we're just kind of working on the exterior, as you can see, getting the, you know, the I was going to say the landscaping. We're not on the landscaping yet, but I did actually include a little bit more footage of the landscaping than I normally do, and it was just because it really didn't take me that long, and I didn't want the video to be too short, which is kind of, I always say that I don't really want the videos to be too long. Now I don't want them to be too short, but not like really short, because it was going to end up being like, if I cut out like the normal time I put in for landscaping in a speed build, if I took that out, the video would be like less than 10 minutes and some other little details and stuff. So I just included a little bit more than normal. And kind of speaking about, well, onto it right now. Speaking of landscaping, I do actually next week have a landscaping tutorial coming, because I know so many people have been asking about that. So I recorded it the other day. I'm kind of just, you know, perfecting it, editing, trying to shorten down and get all the boring bits out. So that'll be coming up next week. I'm not really too sure what day. I'm thinking either maybe Tuesday actually. I was going to go up tomorrow, but I do actually have another video planned for tomorrow that kind of just came up out of the blue. So I'll probably be trying to do that tomorrow. So yeah, probably tomorrow or Tuesday. I don't normally upload on Tuesdays, but you know what, let's just do a bonus video next week. So what else was I about to mention? Well, it's currently the 15th, which is also the day this is going up. I don't normally like to record the voiceovers or do anything with this build on the day of upload, especially the mansion builds, because it's such a big build. I normally like to get it done a few days in advance, just so on the day of upload I don't really have to stress about it, because it is, you know, like one of my bigger builds that I do every week. But it's not that I haven't, like, you know, kind of left it too late. I actually started this on the 30th of June. I was kind of just in the mood to build a load of exteriors, so I kind of started like 3 mansion builds for the next 3 weeks, and kind of just did a little bit of the exterior for them, and this was one of them. So I started it kind of a while ago, and then I came back on the 7th and did most of it, and then the 13th as well, which is like Friday, I think. Yeah, Friday the 13th. I didn't even, I think I mentioned this in one of my videos the other day, but on Friday I didn't even realise it was the 13th. Like, it was like way into the afternoon, and I'd be like, oh, it's Friday the 13th. So I'm kind of glad I didn't think about it, because I'm really kind of superstitious about Friday the 13th, and I always feel like something's going to go wrong, even though not everything, you know, goes right. But just always have that feeling. So I decided to, you know, well, I didn't decide to, I just didn't think about it, so I'm kind of glad that happened, really. So you can see here working on one of the bathrooms. You're probably surprised to see bathroom in a Thomas TV speed build, but I don't normally include the bathroom footage, just because they are literally identical. You see this wall covering and this flooring tiles we're using? Every other one of those bathrooms in the house has the exact same furniture and those wall coverings and flooring tiles. So I never feel like it's a very important thing to include in the speed build. But another thing as well is that they're literally just such a boring room, and there's not really that many different things you can do for a bathroom. So I always end up doing the same thing, so I just literally cut out all of them. And they're just not really that important of a room. Well, I mean, they're important, but in a mansion build there can be like, you know, 5 or more of them. So, you know, I just try to cut them out. And there's this fly really irritating me, flying around me. Anyway, so we're working on this room here, which was actually like where the garage is, but I converted it into kind of just a general family room. I would say this room is more of the informal one. Behind the staircase there's another fireplace, but that doesn't have a TV, so I kind of say that's more of a formal living room. And well, I mean, there's no really like need to kind of name what each living room is. It's totally up to you what you want to use it for. But you know, that's kind of what I had in mind while I was building it. I'd say this is more of like a family room. You can see we've got a gaming console, a gaming table in the back, and I thought this room was a little bit too big, and I normally recently have been trying to include a gym in my builds and some other general activity rooms. So I did actually corner off a little room in that main living room area in the garage for a little gym area. It's pretty small compared to some other gyms I do in mansion builds, but you know, it's got the general equipment that you need and the essentials and stuff. So this right here is the kitchen. I mean, I don't know why I had to say that, you can probably see. But, you know, it's a little bit smaller actually than some of my other kitchens. I mean, this is still pretty big, but just compared to some other mansion builds, what I've been doing recently is actually making the house portion of the 64x64 a lot smaller and kind of really focusing on the landscaping, because landscaping has always been my favourite part of any build from the very start. But I've kind of just been really developing my landscaping style and things and trying new things with landscaping recently. So it's now one of my favourite parts. I mean, even more so when I do my mansion build. So I kind of like to pay a little bit more attention to it, and also the backyard area. So doing, you know, lots of nice landscape in the pool and, you know, outdoor activities and stuff like that. So I kind of focus a little bit more on that, which means I've made the house portion of it a little bit smaller. I mean, it's not like so small it's like you can't even put a family in here. It is still, you know, pretty big. I mean, we've got two living rooms, but you know, it is still pretty big. And I've also as well been kind of reducing the amount of bedrooms and stuff, which, I mean, because the house is smaller, that's kind of helped with that. And you're probably saying, why would I want to do that? But it's actually because my normal mansion builds are actually kind of way too big. Like, I did this, it was probably a few months ago now, and I did this mansion build where it was called like a mega mansion, I think it was, and it had like 26 bedrooms, which is absolutely insane. And I mean, you know, that is pretty ridiculous, but it was also supposed to be ridiculous because it was a 3-floor 64x64 mansion. So I did want to, you know, make it really big, but you know, that just kind of proves my point that, you know, the mansion builds are maybe a little bit too big on the bedroom number. And yeah, so right now I'm working on this room here, which is the laundry room. You can see we kind of switched up the wall covering. It's just to kind of not have everything kind of look the same. I do kind of tend to go for neutral colours, but I do try to sometimes include some other colours and, you know, some of the other rooms. But yeah, so I'm actually going to be going on a little vacation sort of thing next week. So I'll be next week's, like, well, it's not just next week though, because I'm going away for a week, but then as soon as we get back I've got my uncle's wedding to go to, so I'm going to have to pre-record for an extra few days, you know, a week plus a few extra days as well. So next week's mansion build and probably the one after that is going to be pre-recorded. So next week, you know, the voiceovers may be, I don't really know if we're going to be getting any new Sims news next week, so I don't really know what's going to happen with that, but, you know, I doubt it will, but I mean, you know, just if I talk about things and then I mention something, maybe like a future pack, because that's sometimes what happens is that in the past I've talked about like a future pack or something, or maybe speculation, and then once that video actually goes up, the trailer for that pack has already came out, if that makes sense. And then it's like, what on earth am I talking about? So, you know, I do try to not pre-record as much if I'm like just not, well, the thing is I do pre-record a little bit, like I'm always like to be ahead of my schedule, but I try not to go so far ahead of my schedule unless I'm pre-recording for like a trip or something. So yeah, that's what sometimes happens. So be prepared for things with time sensitivity on voiceovers. You probably know what I'm on about. I'm taking too long to explain this. So right now we're working on a kids room, which again for a Towers TV build is a bit of a shocker, because, you know, I don't normally include kids rooms, and that's just because for a lot of these mansion builds that I've done in the past, they're a lot more on the luxury side or upper scale, expensive, that sort of thing, and wait, that didn't make sense. They normally have a lot of expensive furniture and things like that. So in the interior, when I have like a kids room in the middle of it, which is all very bright and colourful and fun, it doesn't fit in with the speed build at all. So I just never really included them, but recently I've been doing a lot more family oriented builds, so I've really been trying to include a lot more, and even here I've got a teens room too, so, you know, it's just something that I'm incorporating in my builds a little bit more. I don't know if I'm going to be doing for every mansion build, but, you know, I'm trying to include them a little bit more. So like I said, this this is the teens room that we're just working on. I mean, we're back to the kids room now, but yeah, now we're back to the teens room. So this room is probably for a teen that's a little bit like an artist, I suppose. I don't really kind of plan a storyline for families when I'm doing these builds. I kind of just do kind of neutral or generic bedrooms, so then you can apply whatever family you have to it. But for this one, for that room, it's kind of more of an artist's type of room, because I did like a little like a canvas holder and an easel and things like that. So, you know, you can take that out if you want to and replace it for another thing if you want, and that's absolutely fine. I do mention this all the time, but if you do download my homes, then that's absolutely fine. If you want to go ahead and kind of change things up on the interior to fit your family, that's fine. All I ask though is not to re-upload them, because I know that a lot of people on the gallery, like builders, and also myself included, have had people kind of stealing our builds and kind of try to re-upload them as their own, which never really happens, right? Because it always has that original by Real Thomas TV1, that thing, which is great, but you know, they still try to do it. So, you know, that's all I ask if you want to go ahead and download and change my builds. But yeah, so this is just a little addition here, a little kind of sunroom upstairs, going off, like jutting off from one of the bedrooms, as you can see. It was just because this side of the build looked a little bit bare, and kind of on the exterior at least, so I did want to go ahead and add that in just to make it look a little bit more interesting. So I don't know if you could hear my fan also in the background. I've got it on very low. It's like on the very lowest setting, just to have a little bit of cool air in my room, because we've got like a heat wave going on in the UK for the last couple of weeks. It hasn't been as bad this week, but it is still very warm today, so I'm just trying to you know, cool myself down as much as I can, because my computer, because I've got like Sony Vegas open, I've got other stuff open, it kind of just, you know, makes the computer work extra harder, so that heats up my room extra quick. So I have my fan on. I've got one of those Dyson hot and cool fans, and I don't know if anybody else has this. I'm really interested to know, because I have this problem where it's kind of making this like really slight high pitched sound, as if like the air filters need cleaning. But the thing is with this fan, you can't open it up to clean it. It's like, it just says you dust like the, because it's got like, it's one of those things without the fan spinner things, I can't think what they're called, like the blades, it doesn't have any of those through it, so you can literally just clean right through it. And that's how they've told you to clean it, but it sounds as if like there's something inside. They've got these little holes, which, you know, for the inside workings and stuff. I can't think how to explain this. And I did try to hoover them, like hoover those little hole things, but it didn't help at all, really. So I don't really know what to do. I kind of want to contact them to kind of try and see what they can do, but it's kind of just a lot of hassle, and I don't even know what's worth it or not. So let me know if you have a Dyson fan, if you have that problem, so I know I'm not the only one. Anyway, so as you can see, we're at the end of the build now, just about to head on to the screenshots in just a second. I really hope you enjoyed. In the comments section down below, let me know about what you thought of this mansion build, and if you have any more suggestions for mansion builds you want to see next Sunday or in the next couple of weeks, feel free to leave that down below in the comment section. Leave a like, share and subscribe if you haven't, and go ahead and download this from the Sims World Gallery. My origin ID is Real Thomas TV1, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!